found in your wardrobe?
I remember when I was a woman.
What?
And welcome to the Nerd.
The Nerd Corner. Hello, and welcome to the Nerd Corner's Doctor Who show.
Oh yes.
So, today we're talking about Rosa.
Rosa Parks.
Well, the Rosa Parks episode,
Yes.
of course, yeah, but obviously titled Rosa.
Yeah.
That was
an intense episode.
That was awesome. I'm going to probably say that's the best of the series so far. What I love about this episode, and I'll start by saying what I loved about this episode straight away. So we're talking about Rosa today. Rosa, of course, being the third episode of the new series.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that
Also, the first time we actually see the new TARDIS team leave the TARDIS. Actually.
Yeah, and of course it being I would say the best episode of the series so far.
Definitely, and also the majority of the episode was based on true historical fact.
What you said to me, you went, this episode's very controversial.
Yeah, very.
And the thing is, it's good. Yeah,
But
you
good controversial.
You can say the word this episode's controversial, but this episode was real.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Like, it was real. Now, no offence to Russell T Davies' era, because I love Russell T Davies, and obviously that's the era I grew up with. But obviously, when Martha travels back in time, she's not scrutinised against,
Yeah, except for there was a kind of taster of that in the Family of Blood, wasn't there? But
Yeah,
that
only
was,
a little bit. Only a little bit. Not
yeah.
like not getting punched in the face 5 minutes after being in the. So Ryan got punched in the face in like the first 5 minutes.
And all he was trying to do was hand back this lady her handkerchief.
Yeah,
that was it.
He was a nice guy. Leave Ryan alone. But
Yeah.
no, it's from straight away. This episode set the bar high.
Yeah.
And what usually happens is you then expect that bar to then get lowered throughout the episode, but not at one point was that bar lowered.
Also as well, I think the quality of writing so far, obviously we haven't seen the rest of the series yet,
No, of course.
but what I like so far is that we haven't got any of the silliness that we have had in previous episodes. We've got, the storyline is concise and it's to the point.
Yes,
Yeah.
but let's also remember some of this silliness. A lot of the silliness did work for Matt Smith's era.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much Capaldi's era, but even then, it's different eras of Doctor Who. But
Yeah.
I'm loving this era. I'm straight up saying like, this has been a ride,
Yeah.
And what I also liked about this episode was, I said it was very controversial. Obviously black people, white people, who sits on the bus where, and
during a time of, like I say, when things weren't as equal as they are now.
they didn't sugarcoat it. That's the best way to do it. Doctor Who usually sugarcoats these parts because it is a kids show in some ways. Obviously, it's a family show too.
Exactly.
But kids need to learn, and of course, this was very educational, and that's exactly what Sidney Newman wanted back in 1963.
Well, think about it. I mean, in a way, I know obviously again, that's one of the good things about Jodie Whittaker being the first female doctor was because in a way Doctor Who did the female thing first, because Doctor Who was one of the first shows to have a female producer,
and also changing its character all the time.
Exactly.
But also, what we talked about this during the episode. We were saying, so in the team we have Graham, who's the older character.
Yeah.
We have
the Doctor.
We have Yaz. So every companion.
Yeah.
We have Yaz. Obviously, she's of Indian obviously have Ryan, who's black.
Yeah.
And then we have a female doctor. They're gonna have obviously this episode showed how much trouble they were having.
Well, also let's face it, simple tasks as well. Like so, one of the few things they tried to do without really even trying to get into some high security building.
Yeah.
They tried to sit in a cafe.
Yeah, and they couldn't.
Yeah.
And like saying,
and they couldn't even do that, could they?
Through different eras.
Yeah.
Imagine if they go into now. This is an episode I would love to see. Doctor Who take notes. Now I know the Doctor's mentioned knowing Emily Pankhurst before. He's mentioned stuff like this. Let's see the Doctor in the suffragette era. That would be. I mean, yeah.
How do we know the new Doctor wasn't in the suffragette era?
Well, how do we know? Of course, but imagine. Can you imagine?
That would be a good episode.
Now this episode itself was so opened up your eyes, and of course, in the 21st century, what I loved is Ryan said, this place is bad. But it's still happening today, and it's still an ongoing issue.
It was a fantastic episode.
I feel like
it was
I'm about
concise.
to make a speech.
And also we got to see, even though it was only brief, we got to see another historical.
Yes, Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
That was that was probably my favourite scene.
And when was it Ryan said,
Ryan,
wow, my nan's a big fan of you, and he was like, How does your nan know who
Well,
I am?
it was my nan. It was nan, grandma, grandma.
What's your nan?
What's the nan? Yeah, I'm gonna.
My grandma. And he was thinking, obviously, because at that point, Martin Luther King wasn't all that well known, or at least not that well known at that point.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, how on earth does she know who I am?
So.
Yeah, brilliant.
What we're saying is this episode's been amazing. What I'm now going to do is we did actually give ratings to the last 2 episodes.
Yes, I suppose we need to rate all of them.
So let's quickly rate all of them. Back from the beginning. The Woman Who Fell to Earth. What would you give it? Series opening.
9 out of 10.
I was thinking 9 out of 10. Good. Ghost Monument. What would you give it?
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. I also... Wow, we're agreeing for once.
This has never happened before.
10 out of 10. We gave it a 10 out of 10.
Now, we don't do that.
We never give 10. Well,
I mean,
okay.
episodes of Doctor Who that I really love, there's usually bits that I've got to pick at.
You definitely gave Rosa 10 out of 10 as well, though, this one out.
Did I?
10 out of 10 for Rosa. If anything, it was amazing. It was mind blowing. Like it was just. And the
thing is, it was mind blowing in its ordinariness.
Yes. You went no big monster. You said that. To me. You went, where's the monster?
Exactly.
And that's good.
The one thing, if this episode had been done 2, 3, 5, or even 10 years ago, there would have been the same story, but there would have been some big, gigantic, blobby monster that would have been put into it, kind of shoehorned into the story where it didn't need to be. Now, obviously they had this other time-travelling guy in it because it needed to have that slight sci-fi element in there just to shake things up a bit, which is good.
Do Vortex Myth player, which is cool.
Exactly.
And also coming from the same prison River Song was in, so that was a nice sort of.
Exactly.
That was a nice reference, yeah.
Exactly, but it wasn't hammered on. It was kind of
in your face.
It wasn't in your face. It was in there, but it didn't take away from the historical element. Again, that's what Doctor Who originally, when it was first the idea of Doctor Who, it was going to be.
Sidney Newman said.
I
don't want dog-eyed monsters. All of this. Watch Adventure in Space and Time if you want to find out more.
Doctor Who originally started out as a historical, educational program with the odd story that had science fiction elements in it.
And it's back. So
and it is. Doctor Who is back.
Finally, I do have one more point to make. So when they first landed, they said that it had taken them 14 attempts to actually. It said so technically there could have been 14 episodes
that we haven't seen.
And I was going to say actually during the episode, I thought, no, don't talk during Doctor Who, don't put Colin off. But yeah, 14 episodes we haven't seen. So I can't wait to read the Time novels. There's novels coming out next month. They're bringing out some novels that obviously I assume they're taking place during this point, which is really cool. And hey, big finish in the future. You know, get the cast on board. So
exactly.
Well, I said one more thing, but I've got 2 more things. Sorry. The other thing as well.
Like Columbo.
Ryan, Graham, they're getting closer.
They are.
You noticed in this episode they were more clicking together.
At one point, I reckon he's going to say, Grandad.
And because he said in front of Ryan in this episode, Graham said, oh, Grandad, and Ryan, at no point did he correct him. Did he go, no, I think you're not my Grandad. He didn't say it at all.
Yeah.
So they're getting closer. And yeah, that's the magic of Doctor Who. Bringing families together. So we'll see you next
through time and space.
So next week we're going to be doing another space-timey episode.
Yeah.
This time I'll actually manage to get his face in it because I failed.
To be fair,
I managed to delete the footage.
I was with my friend
during the day.
We were on a boat. You know, I went back like that, and then I got sucked into the time vortex again.
So and that's obviously what I ran with. And then they used the footage like for Sharda. So we will see you next week for more Doctor Who, Arachnids in the UK, and I'm really looking forward to that episode because we're going to meet Yaz's family. So we will see you in the future.
Or maybe the past.